Stealth technology has changed everything. It's one of the biggest advantages that we have in modern warfare. And it all started with one aircraft. Let's take a look at how this technology has changed warfare forever. The B-2 Spirit was developed to penetrate heavily defended airspace in order to deliver ordnance to high-value targets. But along the way, it solved problems that no one even knew existed. Its radar cross-section, or RCS, is extremely low, meaning it's very difficult to detect on radar. It's so difficult, in fact, that some sources claim you wouldn't see it unless you were breathing on it. For example, the US has a number of satellites that are equipped with synthetic aperture radars, SARs. These radars emit radio waves and then record the returns. By analyzing the returns, the satellites can create images of the ground below them. These images are incredibly detailed. It's given militaries around the world the ability to project power in ways that were never before possible. For example, stealth aircraft are now regularly used to conduct strikes against terrorist targets in countries like Afghanistan and Pakistan. They're also used to gather intelligence on hostile countries and to protect friendly forces from detection. There's no telling what the future of stealth technology will hold, but it's clear that it will continue to play an important role in modern warfare. In fact, they're so detailed that they can be used to track the movement of vehicles and even identify the types of vehicles that are being moved. Others argue that it's made them more likely to occur in the first place. Do you agree or disagree with either of these statements? Why or why not? So stealth technology has a wide range of applications. It can be used to avoid detection, gather intelligence, and even disrupt enemy communications. However, you don't need to breathe on it because the B-2 is actually visible on radar, but only if you know what to look for. For example, infrared sensors can detect the heat signature of an aircraft. Acoustic sensors can detect the sound of an aircraft engine. One of the biggest drawbacks of stealth technology is its cost. Stealth aircraft and systems are very expensive to develop and maintain. For example, the F-35 program has been plagued by cost overruns and delays. Another drawback of stealth technology is its limited range. Stealth aircraft typically have to carry a lot of fuel, which reduces their payload capacity. This means that stealth aircraft often have to be supported by tanker aircraft in order to extend their range. Stealth technology also has some limitations in terms of its effectiveness. Stealth aircraft are difficult to detect, but they're not impossible to detect. In fact, there have been a number of cases where stealth aircraft have been detected and shot down. For example, in 2006, a Russian S-400 battery shot down an American RQ-170 drone over Afghanistan. There are also a number of ways that stealth aircraft can be tracked once they've been detected. For example, an aircraft's flight path can be tracked using a network of ground-based radars. And once an aircraft is in the air, it leaves behind a contrail that can be used to track its position. So stealth technology is not a panacea. It's a valuable tool that can be used in a variety of ways, but it's not the answer to all of the military's problems. The B-2's stealth features are only effective when it's spoofing at certain angles relative to the ground. When it's flying over a mountain range, for example, the radar returns appear to come from the mountains themselves. The B-2 is able to take advantage of the terrain by flying at low altitudes and at speeds that match the rotation of the Earth. This makes it incredibly difficult for ground-based radar to detect. But it also makes it difficult to know exactly where the B-2 is. Is it over the mountain? Over the valley? Which way is it going? All these questions are difficult to answer. And that's exactly why stealth technology is so useful. The F-117 had been flying for a couple of years before anyone in Congress or the general public knew it existed. These platforms use the same principles of design to avoid detection. However, they each have their own unique capabilities. The F-22 is a fighter jet that's designed to dominate the skies. It's fast, maneuverable, and has an extremely low RCS. The F-35 is a multi-role fighter that's designed to operate in a variety of environments. It's not quite as stealthy as the B-2 or the F-22, but it's still very difficult to detect. And then there's the RQ-170. This is a drone that was designed specifically for reconnaissance missions. It's incredibly stealthy and has a very long loiter time, which means it can stay in the air for hours on end. In fact, some reports claim that the RQ-170 has been used in combat operations in Afghanistan and Pakistan. However, The US government has never confirmed these reports. No one had ever heard of stealth technology until the F-117 was unveiled, and then it seemed like a miracle. Did they build a plane that's invisible? They hadn't. They simply built a plane that was hard to detect. In order to see an aircraft, the naked eye needs a contrast between the aircraft and its background. Without that contrast, it's difficult for the human eye to pick out the aircraft from its surroundings. If the aircraft is dark and the sky is dark, it's hard to see. But that's only half the equation. For an aircraft to go undetected, it needs to remove itself from both the visual and radar spectrum. Radar works by sending out radio waves at the speed of light. When those radio waves hit an object, they bounce back to their source, revealing the position of that object. If an aircraft can absorb, deflect, or distort these radio waves, it becomes very difficult for radar to accurately determine its position. And that's what stealth technology does. The need for stealth technology really began with the SR-71 Blackbird. This plane flew so high that most of the atmosphere's weather systems couldn't touch it, making it an ideal reconnaissance aircraft. What it wasn't designed to do was to penetrate heavily defended airspace. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. found itself in a conflict where its planes had to fly through one of the most heavily defended airspaces ever created. North Vietnamese anti-aircraft guns were set up in a layered defense system, each layer getting tougher to penetrate than the last. The only way for the U.S. to win this war would be to find a way to penetrate this airspace without being detected. And that's how the F-117 Nighthawk came to life. Lockheed's top-secret project used computer-aided design and built the first prototype in less than 84 days. But it didn't stop there. As soon as the project was complete, Lockheed got to work on an even more advanced stealth platform, one that could carry ordnance and strike high-value targets. That's when the B-2 Spirit was born. But it didn't just change warfare. It solved a problem no one even knew existed. So the B-2's designed to absorb and scatter radio waves away from their source. In fact, it's so useful that it's led to the development of other stealth platforms such as the F-22 Raptor, the F-35 Lightning, and even the RQ-170 Sentinel drone. But stealth technology isn't just useful for avoiding detection. It can also be used to gather intelligence. However, it's not foolproof. There are a number of ways that stealth aircraft can be detected. It may seem that stealth technology is the perfect solution to modern warfare, but it's not without its drawbacks. Despite these drawbacks, stealth technology remains one of the most important developments in military aviation history. Some people say that stealth technology has made wars easier to fight. Stay with us for more stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.